Chapter 7. Two Lone Socks Contemplate Winter. I had always seen myself as having been the sensible one. When my partner had first complained about the conditions we were subjected to in Henry's boots, I had argued that as socks we were destined for nothing more, that we were lucky that every week Emily washed us and even talked to us with affection as she held us together before pinning us to the clothesline. And those afternoons on the clothesline were wonderful. We would flutter together in the wind with all the other clothes. I remember the white sheets were so glorious, billowing in the breeze, bright with sunshine. Those are some of my fondest memories. On rainy days, Emily would wash only small things like us, and she hung us on the wooden rack next to the wood stove. Yes, we were allowed to dry indoors on those days. I remember the warmth, the smell of coffee from the percolator that Emily kept on the stove, her knitting while we dried. My partner never appreciated those niceties, and would shudder as much as a sock can whenever Henry entered the room. Over the years, that grumbling grew incessant. I tried to explain that ours had not been a bad situation for what we were, and that to leave would almost certainly lead to something worse. But my counsel was in vain. Ever since that faithful day last spring, I have been alone. First in a box filled with orphaned socks, but still alone. None of the other socks spoke to each other. None had the woolly warmth, for lack of a better way to say it, than my partner and I had had before. Sometimes I just don't know how the world works, that I could have tried so hard to keep us together, only to find myself where I am now. Here, look at me now. Here I am snagged on a leafless branch on the edge of a beaver pond. It is very cold here and very lonely. Here's the picture that goes with that. So you can see the red sock there hanging on the branch of the alder in the winter. I know that the easy way to understand it all would be to blame my partner. Yes, that would be easy. Yes, it was my partner that left. That is what precipitated the chain of events that led to where I am now, and to wherever my partner is now. Where are you, oh my red wool sock, my other half? But I know deep down that my partner tried to overcome the urge to leave, to fit into the life the world gives a sock, and to be a logger's sock is certainly to have been, to use an expression I've heard, thrown a curveball. I know that. The urge never went away. My partner left. I suppose it was inevitable. On many occasions we'd come to agreement that we would stay together proudly as a pair of hand-knitted wool socks, facing each day with dignity. But the next day in Henry's boot would bring it all back. I should have known since that first day, the day Henry first put us on, Henry's birthday, that it would end this way. It is a miracle that we lasted as long as we did. To that I can only thank Emily for her excellent choice of yarn and her fine needlework. I'm sure duck season has ended by now, and I don't expect Henry to backtrack all the way here to find an old single sock. Of course he wouldn't. If I were Emily, I wouldn't let him waste the effort. On sunny days, it isn't bad here. I can only hope that I don't fall from this branch, though. The ground below is soggy, and I've seen mice in the grass. If I fall, I'm sure they'd shred me and stuff me into some dank underground hole they'd call a nest. But anyway, there have been some pleasant days. I've come to know the family of beavers who maintain this dam. although I haven't talked to them. So far, they've left my tree alone. Before the pond froze, I'd see them swimming up toward the head of the pond in the evenings. In the mornings, they'd return, towing sections of trees to their lodge. It seemed they worked mostly at night. They'd bite sticks off logs and take them under water to where I can only imagine. They'd eat the bark off the big logs and stack them peeled on top of their lodge and the dam. Perhaps the sticks were a winter food supply. I do hope the winter will be short. I'm no stranger to the cold and snow. But it was different on the clothesline. My partner was there, and Emily always brought us in before night, or if it rained. Sometimes I think that memories of shared hard times age to become recollections of the highest quality. But hard times endured alone are best forgotten. This winter will be mine alone. The other sock. I can't brag about how good I've had it since I ran away. I have to face the fact that run away is just what I did. I have to thank my lucky stars for Pa Crow at finding me. He and Ma Crow took good care of me. They kept me cleaner than I would have expected. If it rained, they would stay in at the nest, covering me, keeping me dry. I can't complain about that. But now they are gone until spring. No, I can't complain. Materially, I'm well off. But I have to admit that I've noticed the days getting shorter, and more the sky looms low and gray and smells of coming snow. Now, when it rains, I just get wet. It's okay, I'm wool. I dry quickly, but my red color feels out of place and cannot mask the gray feeling I have deep within my knit. I'm haunted by the question of what has become of my partner. I remember once in the trailer at a logging camp in Maine, from inside Henry's boots, I heard a song on the radio. It said something about not knowing what one has until it's gone. That's true for me. I never appreciated what it meant to have my partner with me on the line. With me all the time. Always together on the clothesline, always on the other foot with Henry. We'd had the exact same experience, but I couldn't take it and left. My partner, ever the sensible one, tried so hard to help me do the right thing. Why couldn't I take it? What weakness of character afflicts me that I ran off? Well, I've done what I've done and have to live with the consequences. I can't go on brooding like this. I have to remind myself of what it was to be on Henry's boot. He used to dust himself off. He used to dust himself with sulfur powder at logging camp. He said it kept crabs and lice away, and was good if you had to go long times without bathing. Can you imagine? Then, again, perhaps some traumas are best forgotten. I must try to forget, because I have to get on with what I am. Anyway, I've heard that we must remember hardships so as not to repeat them in the future. I cannot imagine a circumstance where I might end up on anybody's foot again. So I'll relieve myself of that burden and look at each day in a positive light. And look, now, as the sun sinks in the west, here come Ma and Pa Crow. I'm not alone for tonight. That's the end of chapter 7.